Today, we're going to talk about TestOps mainly. We're going to talk about the challenges that drove TestOps to be what it is today. We're going to talk about the evolution of the product to meet the challenges that you are having. And also, we're going to talk about the vision for all the AI initiatives that we have within the product, the timeline, and as well as an amazing demo that Cristiano is going to show us. And as I mentioned, a Q&A at the end. So with that being said, please enjoy this. This webinar is for you. So ask any questions and as many questions as you have. And I'll see you on the other side. Now the time is yours, Cristiano.
So just went through the agenda. So thank you very much for making time. So have a lot of stuff to share, good stuff about TestOps. So I think that's the reason you're here. Right, so let's start with the why behind that, right? So why we actually aiming to improve TestOps and kind of expanding its focus. So we have been talking to customers, doing product research and learning. And in this slide, you can see in a higher level, like the main issues or challenges our customers, yourself, are facing on a daily basis. This is not like an exhaustive list or anything, but at least the key ones, right? So as you see here, no centralized test management, that's a major issue, or no test management at all, just spreadsheets all over the place. So it's being something that customers are telling us, right? So that's something that's hard to have like a single source of truth for the test management needs. Also, despite the fact, I guess, you're here because you're also using Studio, so it's all about test automation, but most of the customers, they're not 100% on test automation only, right? So they need to manage both manual and automated. So the problem is when you have like different tools from different vendors, so it's challenging to have like a single point of view and actually dealing with challenges that relate to other things like say reporting and keeping track of what's going on those initiatives. So that's the second major thing that our customers say, yeah, that's a struggle for us. And along those lines, insufficient test coverage, right? So despite the fact you have in parallel both avenues for manual and automation, so it's hard to keep track on where we are in terms of test coverage, or how can I actually expand quicker my test coverage. We're going to cover this as well in a sec. Or traceability, because all the tools are all over the place, different vendors, so different type of tools. So it's hard to keep track. So how do you circle back to the source requirement? How do you keep track on the defects that you have found in the past and make sense of this data so you can predict the future, for example? So having these like in different tools, so that's super challenging based on what our customers are telling us, right? And again, same thing, right? So tools sprawl all over the place. How do I keep track on actually the results and the quality or the health of the application, right? So it's hard to pull data from different sources, which usually comes in different formats, and do some Excel magic and go through a spreadsheet to slice and dice the data. Sometimes customers need to actually create custom BIs to actually pull data from those different sources and make sense. So it's an extra layer of effort that should be more straightforward, right? And the last thing is you have a bunch of licenses, you need to manage those licenses. And the bigger the company, the harder it is to make sure that you're assigning to the right people and like being mindful of the best way to use those resources. Also in terms of administration, management, that's something that based on the functionality that you give to you today. So it's not enough to streamline your whole process, and then you can have fine-grained permissions, and you can have like a way to keep track on what people are doing. So that's another problem that's very specific to the way we sell our product, the way you manage our license. So what we want to do is based on those learnings to go ahead and try to address as much as possible, if possible, all of them, right? So by evolving our products. Okay, so let's move one slide ahead. So let's pause for a second and let's fire up a poll just to make sure whether those are the same challenges you're facing, right? So again, those are the big ones that we're hearing from our customers. I guess you can see the poll here. Please go ahead. So mark the ones that you believe in a way resonate with you. And there is an other option. So you can, if those are not your challenge, we are way off, right? So just leave a note on the things that you believe are your major challenge. I would love to hear so whether this resonate with you or not.
Maybe because you are a co-host or you're not seeing the results, but if this helps you, the audience is letting us know that the option of manual and automated testing not being integrated right now is winning with a 70% score in the results, followed by limited reports and analytics, followed by no centralized test management, and then followed by insufficient test coverage. And the very last one is poor traceability. So again, it looks like all of the answers are leaning towards manual and automated testing not being integrated, followed by limited reporting and analytics. And also, I wanted to let the audience know we have a technical glitch in the poll. There is not an other option. So if you want to type, if there is something that, like Cristiano said, if there is something we missed, please go ahead and put it in the chat. We would love to hear your insights as well.
Yes, please do that because again, if you are far off from your specific problems, that's the best channel so you can share it with us. And thanks for chiming. So because again, I don't see live the results. So in the next poll, so please go ahead, chime in again and just show the latest update. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. So definitely that's important for us. So to make sure we keep honest and on the right direction, right? So let's keep going, right? So this is like the platform, right? The offerings that you have today. So you're using like Studio, KSC, and KRE actually for your test automation needs. We have already the TestOps product, right? So it's not as if we're building a new product, bringing to the market new product. So we have this offering, which is a product that's more narrow focused. So the focus is more on the test orchestration. You trigger or schedule your test suite, and then we generate some basic analytics. And you have a little sprinkle of AI capabilities in TestOps as it is today, right? And then I guess many of you are using, so you have Test Cloud, which is like our test environment tool. So you can have desktop and mobile environments so you can run your tests. That's today, right? So we are heading to, let me just go straight. There you go. So we are heading to, as I said, to address those problems I just shared, to expand like TestOps focus, right? So we want to move away from just being a test orchestration product to become a quality management platform, right? So we want to embrace more problems and want to have under the same roof, right? So a solution that address those problems rather than you using different tools from different vendors and going all over the place to have the data or the information you need, right? So one key component of the quality management platform is test management, right? Not just for manual test management, but for both manual and automated. So we're building inside TestOps those extra capabilities that's going to deal with managing your tests, planning, right? So designing test cases and creating test runs and running and tracking the results. So all this stuff you probably are doing in a way or another, either with another product or manually with spreadsheets. We want to bring this to TestOps so you can have like full test management capabilities inside TestOps. Test orchestration, this is something we have already. We're improving on top of that, improving the user experience, strengthening those capabilities. So we're not removing anything that you have. So maybe that's important to highlight. So the new TestOps is going to add more around that. It's not as if you're going to remove existing capabilities, okay? And we are building on top of our reporting capabilities. We are redoing the whole engine behind like test report generation. So we're going to have better reporting capabilities, custom reports, and better way to drill down reports or break down reports in a way you can see in a portfolio level or multi-project level, for example. So it's going to be way more flexible than the capabilities that we have today. we also we are building, so I guess at this point all of you have heard this, right? So we're building true test. So I guess that's not the first time you hear about this, but long story short, so it's a AI powered regression testing tool. So the whole idea is we plug a agent in your production environment, and this AI agent understand what's going on, how your customers or users they're behaving in production, and based on this it generates test cases for the flows, test automation scripts, right? So the idea is to make sure that you, based on the test that you have already, right? So in your either manual or automated, which is more focused on meeting the requirements by monitoring production, we're gonna understand how users behave, and based on that, so you can cherry pick scenarios where there is a gap between what you're testing and what the customers are behaving in production. So you're not testing exactly what people do. Also, corner cases, scenarios, or edge cases that they are not described in requirements, and you never create test case to address that. So you can, at the end of the day, expand your test coverage. In addition to that, that is, again, it's a AI-powered capability. It's going to maintain those tests over time. So there is this whole other process that is about like creating and maintaining over time your tests. So there is like the key, like in a nutshell, overview of what True Test does, and it's going to be part of this platform. So you definitely can have this as part of the TestOps offering.
And Cristiano, just a plug here for those of you who are interested in True Test, based on what Cristiano just mentioned, we'll have a webinar tomorrow specifically on True Test. So if you want to sign up for that, just look up the email that you received that you were notified about this webinar on TestOps. There was also a link for True Test, which will happen tomorrow at the same time.
Yeah. And True Test, the way we're going to bring this to market can be a standalone product, of course, but can be part of this whole ecosystem and is going to be integrated because, again, it's a quality management platform. So at the end of the day, if you have test cases and those test cases need to managed in a way, and those test cases generate results, and you need to like generate like insights and report, it's all being concentrated in just one single source of truth. That's the reason. So True Test makes sense to be part of this ecosystem, right? And if you have many licenses you need to manage, you have very specific requirements in terms of administration and user permissions. So we also expanding on those capabilities. So if you have like organizations, sub-organizations, teams, and everything, so we're gonna give you way more flexibility to manage the way you use our license. And at the end of the day, for many customers, this is like super important, right? Because again, when you have 5 licenses, that's okay, it's easy to manage. But when you have 500 licenses and it's floating around, and you need to make sure one team have the license when they need, and when they finish the project, we need to move those licenses and assign to another group of people. So that becomes a chore, and it's not too much efficient the way we're doing now. So we are building on top of that to make this super streamlined, and some sprinkles of AI, of course, because as you see, as a foundation, we are experimenting, right? So we're exploring ways where AI makes sense, not doing AI for the sake of AI, but we are doing in a way that, okay, that makes sense. This solves better this problem, and AI is going to be like a leverage to solve that specific point in the life cycle, in the testing life cycle in this case, either to assisting you, right? So, or augmenting in a way that specific task that you're trying to accomplish, or in a way automating, right? Or maybe no AI at all, right? So there are some tasks that makes no sense. Human need to be in control, or you have specific requirements around AI, security, and privacy. So the product, it can be run like as a standalone thing with no AI enabled. But if AI is something that matters to you, so yeah, you can enable AI in the place that makes sense. Okay. This is more or less again, it's evolving as we're building. So we're not doing sales pitch or anything here. This is under development, right? So there's not something that's available for the market yet. But the reason we are inviting you to get to know this, because as you get excited, you definitely can give us feedback, and you have an opportunity actually to showcase to you, not just like the quick demo I'm going to deliver in the next few minutes, but also we can give to you like sandbox environments or POC environments you can go through and assess and compare with whatever you have in place. Let's say you have a test management tool. We want to compare whether we're solved in a better way, as again, under the same roof or against the specific requirements, right? So that's part of what we're trying to accomplish here. Okay, so let's again pause for a second for those major capabilities I just described. So let's fire up another poll just to see which one of them like make you more excited, or you believe that's gonna solve like a bigger problem in your testing life cycle. So I can't see the poll already, but again I can't see the results. So Lucy's gonna chime in the next few seconds. Please go ahead.
Absolutely,
Answer the
Cristiano.
poll.
So it looks like we have the audience is leaning towards AI powered regression testing with TrueTest, which again, to echo what Alex said earlier, if you go to Katalon.com/webinars, we have the registration page there for the webinar that we're doing on TrueTest at the same time tomorrow. So all of you are welcome to attend that. That option of AI regression testing is followed by test management, manual and automated tests, followed by reporting and analytics, and last but not least is test orchestration. No selections for enterprise administration and license management yet. So again, we have seems to be the leading option here is AI powered regression testing, followed by test management, and then reporting and analytics.
Brilliant. And again, as you see, there is the other option. If there is something else that you believe would be more important in your case, please go leave that on the comment section. Sorry, Alex, you were trying to say something.
I was just going to ask Lucio if you have the link to the webinar, the True Test webinar tomorrow. If you have that link handy, maybe you could put it on the chat for the audience here.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and place it there right now.
And also for the audience, if you're able to just type up on the the comments there, I'm just curious, right? Just to get ready for tomorrow as well. Why do you think the AI powered regression testing capability is aligned to what you're struggling with today the most? Just like, what's the motivation to look at that? Is it more like curiosity about what it does, or is it really like you're envisioning that capability addressing a specific challenge that you have today? I mean, if you can do that, it will just help us be better prepared for tomorrow as well. So thank you.
All right, brilliant. So let's move forward. So talking about envisioning. So again, we have a bold desire, right? So to address some problems or specific use cases in the testing lifecycle with AI. Again, even today, I'm not going to show during the demo anything fancy about AI. So again, as I told you, we are building the foundation. The foundation shouldn't rely on AI, but as we are building that, we are adding to a specific point in the lifecycle or tasks like those AI capabilities. Again, we want to be serious about AI, so there is so much like to consider even to start building. We're not talking about like a wrapper around ChatGPT, which most of the AI capabilities you see in the market is something like that. We're trying to solve meaningful problems in a responsible way. That's the reason we're not going to show you anything, because again, there's lots of R&D being done. And again, that is the vision, but we need to compare and contrast on what is the real problems that you guys believe that make more sense. As I describe this, right? I'm not 100% sure. And now we don't have a poll for this, but please leave in the comments something that in a way is get you excited, or maybe something you're missing that are scenarios that are painful to you and you believe AI could be a good leverage. Okay, I'll walk through this real quick, just give you a sense of what we're discussing internally and cooking. But on the test planning and design side, right? So we want to go even above and beyond, right? It's not just about testing. We want to actually go even on the requirement level. So using or leveraging AI in a way so you can understand whether the requirement is good enough. Sometimes it's not about the testing, it's about the requirement being properly described and not ambiguous or with rules that contradict each other in a way. So you could pinpoint problems and in a way generate some sort of scoring system for the quality of the requirement. And through this, we could actually escalate this to PMs or BAs or POs, right? So they could clarify and fix those problems. As we have a requirement with better quality through this process, right? So we're exploring from the requirement generating test cases, right? Not just going sent to ChatGPT like a basic prompt and getting this, but we're talking about a proper way to generate test case by using test design techniques and that proper testing approach to generate the best test case to cover those requirements. And also assisting in a way the test lead to plan the cycle, right? So to select the test case that makes sense according to whatever scope in that cycle, or prioritizing test case based on past execution results, so higher chance of finding defect that are well aligned with the scope of the cycle, or the user stories that are part of a specific sprint. So we're exploring different variables and dimensions we can use, especially things from the past. So past results, past information, past defects could, in a way, help predict and prioritize whatever we're going to be doing now, right? So that's the kind of AI slash, I would say, data science is not just about AI, right? So there's a lot of data science behind that as well. And again, this is just like a high level view. There are more use cases we're exploring. That's the reason as you hear this and you get excited, if something comes to mind that would help you like solve different problems, please share on the comments because we're learning as well, right? Test creation is another like bucket that we're exploring. So generating the steps. So one thing is generating the test case, the high level test case, but then we're exploring to help you streamline the whole process, generating the test case steps based on the requirements and the description of the test case. In a way, iterate on top of that and help the tester in a way escalate the problems that when you design the steps to make sure you have proper coverage. And again, through AI and automation and through the platform, escalate this to BAs and POs or anyone that matters, right? So either for clarification, either to send a signal to them so they can review that. The last one is about true tests, right? So automatically generate tests from real user activity in production. This is by far the most advanced thing that you have in the AI space in our case. So this is, again, we're going to have a webinar tomorrow just deep diving on this. So that's a real product, right? So it's not a desire or a vision. That's something that's up and running. You have customers doing POCs and buying the product. So please, if get you excited, join the webinar tomorrow. That will be 100% just focus on this. All right, so just moving forward, test execution, right? So there's a bunch of things that we're cooking on the studio side of things. We have some basic AI capability in studio, but again, now we are in a way trying to make sense those capabilities with the capabilities that we're gonna give to you in TestOps, and also because TestOps is delivering to you capabilities around manual testing. So again, we're gonna build AI capabilities not just for the automation side of things on the test execution, but also for the manual one. So we want in a way or another to accelerate the whole process of executing the manual tests in a way that you can generate easily like synthetic data, right? Or based on the requirements or the test case details or information from the past. in a way capturing the evidence of the test. So accelerating this process, not just about taking screenshots or videos of whatever is going on, logging the defects as well to streamline this whole process. So again, the whole idea is to make sure that you're able to execute the test faster and don't spend too much time like on the office work, right? Take screenshot, copy and paste, and create a bug in Jira. So the idea is to make sure this is not testing, right? So it's generating those evidence. How can we make this like faster? And also optimizing in a way this test execution. So based on test cycles and the timeline in the scope. So the idea is to make sure that we're gonna optimize whatever you're running, right? So on the fly, and based on how you're running on the fly, it's going to recommending like better ways to do, or past the executions could drive the way you're executing. Reporting again, as I said, we are recreating like the whole reporting engine. So we're gonna roll up and down. So we go up to portfolio level, or you go to specific test case. So we want to make sure your analytics can be seen through different layers, right? And as you have all those layers of information, again, by using a bunch of machine learning and AI, you want surface insights on the fly as it goes. You want to make sure you have clarity on the level of coverage and whether you're ahead or behind of whatever threshold that you define. And you want to make sure that all the time you have clarity on the application health and release readiness, right? With AI generated recommendations and insights, right? So lots of stuff like really exciting on the test reporting side of things. On the slightly boring, but as important as, so we need to improve the whole process and streamline of how we manage license, especially when you have hundreds of licenses. So we need to have like proactive ways to identify and notify. So when you're underusing or overusing, so we're not going to pay like and not use stuff. We want to make sure you understand clearly how you're using the license, right? And also understand the usage patterns like and in the product, because then we can help you understand that you're not benefiting from features that in the product, right? So there are a bunch of stuff that are there. This is a complex product, and then we want to make sure that you have clarity on people not using or leveraging capabilities that are there. And on the test management side, so last one, and we can jump straight to a quick demo. We're gonna have like ways to create test suites based on the release scope. So it's not just about the test case, but also like the suite, and you're used to doing this, right? So you have Studio, and Studio got this concept of suite, which is a set of test cases. So, but you need to do this manually. And when you have hundreds and hundreds of tests, so definitely some help based on those AI capabilities is going to make like a huge difference. Same thing for alerts and recommendations. So AI is really, really smart on doing this, and even better than us going through data. And what we want to make sure is that once you have this in place, the test lead or whatever the manager, right, can be planning, and not just planning, but keeping track of the execution, right? So to make sure whether it's far off from the original plan or whether it's off track in a way. And I don't need to go over reports manually to see how things are going. I'll get like on the fly insights. And also because you have Test Cloud, so we can recommend to you like the test environment based on requirements. So it's going to be smart enough to understand what you're trying to accomplish. And then when you create the test suites and everything, it is going to recommend to you, look, these need to be executed on this environment, or based on past executions, like last 6 months, this specific browser is the one where most of the defects happen for a reason or another. So make sure that you're gonna also test on this. So there's so much stuff that you can leverage. So this slide is not even like all the stuff that are bubbling up in our conversations and the stuff that we are hearing from our customers. So again, take your time, share with us. We are in learning mode, as I said. So the more you learn, so the better.
And
Cool.
Cristiano,
So
do you mind if I just say one more thing?
Absolutely, please.
Previous slide. So on the AI front, right, all those capabilities that Cristiano was showing, We've been doing a lot of research in the past year and a half, like solid research on, and have released many alpha versions of different features across our products. Some of you guys on the call might have been one of our alpha, customers. And as we were validating the actual value that those AI-powered features were actually delivering to you, we saw that many of them were just like nice to have, like you're checking a box because you're bringing AI. So over the past year and a half, what we have learned is that we as a company, we can say we have AI on a lot of different things, but what we've found out is that our customers, you guys, are not really seeing the value. And we see this in the market a lot, right? AI is present everywhere. Everybody talks about AI. But if you really look at how much value it's actually delivering, like, is it making your life better? Is it making your decision-making process better? Are you becoming a better automation engineer? Are you becoming a better tester, a better test analyst, right? As we worked with our customers in those real alpha features that we have delivered over the last year, many or most of them were killed, like research in features that were killed because we didn't want to just have AI to say AI. I know it's kind of the same result if you go to ChatGPT and, put in a requirement there and it spits out a test. Like, is that really helping you with something? So one of the things that we've been doing and investing a lot as part of those learnings is to take a step back and not look at AI the way we've been looking for, in general, but really look at the testing activities that you guys as professional testers, automation engineers, test analysts, manual testers, right? It doesn't matter, but in your roles, what are the typical activities that you go through? And then how can we infuse AI or inject AI in every single step of your journey, or in as many steps in your journey it makes sense, and measure how much AI is actually helping you become better, become more, become faster, become more efficient, more productive, right? And we've learned that is really the better way. And many of you, again, are also participating in our early adopter program in many of these features that Cristiano mentioned here. And the end goal is really to eventually, you won't even know that AI is there. You just know that you're being able to create tests that are much more comprehensive. You're doing that much faster. And you're catching a lot more issues, right? So that's the end goal. And, this outline here, this vision is a work in progress in many of these fronts. We're really happy to be sharing this with you. And we can be a little more open here because this webinar is only for our customer base, right? We only invited our customers. And hopefully that gives you a good idea of where we are going as a company. It helps you also reach out to us if you want to try some of these things as they become available, right? We're happy to welcome you as early adopters or maybe alpha testers or beta testers, right? We have all these programs running on an ongoing basis. So if you're interested in any of this, feel free to reach out to us after the webinar, drop us a comment here. We'll follow up with you. But this is really exciting time as TestOps is becoming this quality management platform that Cristiano mentioned that is infused with AI from its core, right? It's not something we're adding AI on top of it just so that we can claim that we have AI. I mean, we have it, but we're doing it in the right way that you can obtain measurable value, for yourself. So just wanted to bring that context to the audience as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex. And yeah, I mean, we're not rushing, right? So we want to make sure that we are solving meaningful problems rather than just shouting, yeah, we have AI, those fake AI that we see in the market, right? And just to give you like a sense of timeline, we started early this year building like this new vision for TestOps. So as I said, we are not selling this yet. It's not public. The launch, as you see, is like early next year. We went through the initial development of the foundation, and we started like with few select customers in August, like I closed the beta. And I was still kind of amplifying, right? So the number of customers that are exploring this, right? So as part of this conversation today is, yeah, we'd love to have you involved in this in a way or another, right? So we want to set up sandbox and POC environments you can walk through. We understand your specific needs and pain points and help you go through this whole process. Because again, whatever feedback you give us is going to shape our roadmap. At least it's gonna make sense to us whether you prioritize feature A or B based on your specific needs and requirements, right? As you see, April 25 is where we are aiming to launch it. I mean, it's important as you can read here. So new UX launch, right? So we're not launching. It's just to emphasize that we're not launching like a new product, right? It's the same product. We're just gonna get all those additional features in addition to TestOps is offering today, right? And even what you have been using today is going to be improved, right? So it's going to be a major revamp, not just in the user experience, but also on additional features around that. Bear with me, this is a work in progress, so still have 5-ish months ahead of us. I'll show you like a quick demo. This demo again, it's a demo of a product that's under development. There are a few features or concepts you're gonna see like my screen. It's not there, right? It's under development. And every 2 weeks at the end of our sprint, we're launching features and improvements. So if you decide to go ahead and start a POC or export the product, right? Bear in mind that every 2 weeks we're gonna see new stuff like popping up here and there, right? So the important thing for us today is make sure that you have all of this in place. And then as we prioritize based on your feedback, we're gonna have like a beautiful launch in April, and the product's gonna meet your needs. And the AI is gonna be the type of AI that again matters to you and solve meaningful problems. Okay. All right, demo time, right? So I'm just switching gears a little bit here. Okay, you see my screen, right, Alex? As I change the tab, so.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, cool. Again, as I told you, so whatever I'm going to show you, it's changing like on weekly basis. And I just want to take some time, just a few minutes to show you this because this is not PowerPoint where, right? It's not a desire. We are building it, right? So we're gonna launch in April, so it's a work in progress. And I would love to show real quick a few screens and a few things in the product. And as we wrap this call, we would love to have you as an early adopter, so we could go through a more in-depth demonstration with more time, showing this off to like your team and colleagues and bosses as well. But let me just go through real quick like workflow and just move this around. Okay, so we're gonna have on day one integration, native integration with Jira and AGO as well if you're using Azure. So we're gonna have integration with Azure, and later we're gonna support other LLMs tools. Okay, this one in the sandbox demo environment, it's connected to Jira, but again, keep in mind if you're using AGO, we're gonna have native support as well, right? From the planning perspective, because it's connected to Jira. So as you can see here, we can have access to whatever going on, right? So your releases and your sprint, and then you can see in the timeline. And as you click here and navigate, you can see the scope of this release. So the user stories or the issues that you have in a way linked to a release or to a specific sprint. So I'm pulling from Jira this. So for example, if I go to a specific user story, so on the left side, you see the description. So the requirement side of the user story. On the right panel, you see the test cases. So just to show you, so this is Jira. So if I can switch back to Jira. So you see that's a real user story. That's part of a sprint or release, right? We are working now on a plugin so you can have panels here, so you see back and forth, right? So it's gonna be bi-directional sync, so you can see the test case from here. Here you can see the results. You can see a bunch of the information can be seen or will be seen from the Jira perspective, right? But most, of course, we're expecting most of the work you can accomplish by just using the TestOps interface. This is, again, you can create a new test case from scratch to cover this requirement. Again, we're going to have the AI capabilities that, in a way, you're going to have a copilot and you're going to be talking with it to create test case based on requirements in the apps or the related user stories as well. Again, it's a test case. Just click one here. So I guess there is nothing here that's new to you, right? So you can configure like a workflow. You can have your description, precondition. You can have custom fields to your test case. You have like the steps, right? How you're going to accomplish the execution of this test case. As we are building tightly integration with test automation, right? So if you have let's say you have automate script in Studio, you can link to this test case. So the methods of execution is not going to be manual anymore. It's going to be linked to a script, and then the type of test is going to be automated. Or sometimes within the sprint, you create the tests that are manual on day one, right? And as you go forward and you're on the next sprint, now the functionality is stable enough, you're gonna start automating. So again, the automated script can be linked back here. So think the test case is the container, right? It can be manual, later it can be automated. And as you run those tests, so you never have this gap between. At some point it was manual and now it's automated. So there is no like a continuum, right? Between, so here is, you have a test case. At some point it was manual and later it became automated. So the results and the whole history is going to be always kept, right? Maybe a test case can be on day one, an automated test case. And that's fine because part of what we're trying to do is managing both automated and manual from here, right? So if I go back, I should just go back one time, another one. So you can manage from the releases in the sprint perspective, right? So you're planning what you're trying to accomplish within that sprint or release. You have the scope, you assign test cases, or you create new ones from scratch. But there is another way, right? So if maybe you're planning regression tests that are nightly regression tests or smoke tests, they are not specifically tied to a specific release or sprint. No problem, right? So you have your test library. We got here, like in the same library, both manual and automated tests. So as you see in the repositories here, you have the whole folder structure for manual tests. You can create like a folder structure to meet your needs, or you can go through your repo where you navigate to, say, GitHub, and then you can have access to the automated scripts that you create like in Studio, right? From here, let me just go back here from this repo. So again, nothing new. So you probably have something in place today like this, but you can manage your test library. Again, this is the list of tests of that specific folder. And if you go to the test again, this is the test case. And you can have access to like the coverage, right? So you have full traceability and back to requirements and test cases and defects. So we're going to give you different ways to view. This is just like initial visual preview in this structure. You can have run history, change history. We're going to introduce versioning as well. So there's a bunch of features that we plan to introduce in the next few months as well, right? Here, again, nothing new. You can import test cases from your existing spreadsheets or maybe a different test management tool. You can create folders or you can create manual test case from scratch. The automated test you still need to create from Studio, but because everything's 100% integrate, you can see them here and manage them here. For example, if you need to manage your test suites, right? There in the previous screen, that was like your test library or repository, but now you need to actually create test suites. So you keep doing what you're doing today, right? So you have your test suites in Studio, you're gonna have access here, you can create from here, or you can create test suites that are 100% focused on manual testing, because again, you're gonna be pulling over manual tests from our test management capabilities, right? So the repository as well. You can, once you have your test suites in place, again, you can plan the test runs or schedule, right? So this is something that you have already in place. We are working on improving the whole user experience in terms of triggering the execution or scheduling. So we're gonna have the type of capability that it's there already for test automation, but at the same time, the new stuff is a similar capability, but more focused on manual testing. So you can create a new test run, you can trigger from, say, running on Monday, or you can start like a new execution from here. And when you create like a new test run from manual, it's the same concept. You choose your test suites, you pick the environments that you want to run. Later, the environments, at least the name of the environments, it's important, because you can have reports broken down by a specific browser or specific OS. So if that matters to you, but let just cherry pick one here. So when you have like a manual test run, right? We have this screen which we are calling this test pack. So it's that screen where you run your manual tests. You can pick different environments, and there will be test suites that are in a way assigned to that specific environment. And when you go through specific test suites, right? So you're gonna see the individual test cases. So running a test case, there's nothing new to you here, right? You go over the steps, you set the result, for the whole test case, right? So the final result, you're gonna have here ways to attach files like evidences. And again, as we discussed earlier, we're gonna give you lots of AI capabilities here to streamline this whole process and make it easier and more efficient. You can create defects. In this case, it's in Jira, could be in AGO. You can add notes, and we are exploring ways to streamline this whole process, right? So while I'm having several people executing the test pack, right? So running the manual test cases that you planned, right? We also gonna have automated tests running in parallel, so lots of things going on, and we are consolidating all the results in just one single place. That's really useful, because at the end of the day, all the reports, again, early days, we have just a few reports here. We're building every sprint, we are adding more and more, and we're introducing more and more flexibility on the way we break down the reports or we filter. But as you see here, you're gonna be able to generate reports in a way that you don't need to pull data from different tools. You're gonna see like a bird's eye view of the metrics that matter to you. And later we're gonna have, this is like a default available like on day one, right? Built-in report, but you're gonna have custom reports. So if the reports that we have by default, they don't matter to you, so you can create your custom report and like pulling the data and breaking down or using the charts that in a way that matter to you. We're planning to have ways to create a scheduled report, and you can share links to reports so people outside the organization can actually have access to reports. And as you see here, so this is a bird's eye view, like high level metrics on the test execution during a specific period, breakdown by status. And we have always like the details table. So if you drill down, so all the reports, they're gonna have drill down information. So you can just highlight the information that matters, and the data in the drill down table is going to reflect like your choice, and you can add more and more filters here, right? So as you learn from our customers that are doing POC and gives us feedback, the type of capabilities that they want, we are prioritizing our reports that matters. right? So we definitely have experience in the testing field, and we are adding the reports that we believe are going to be really useful for you. But again, the more feedback you give, it's going to help us drive prioritizing the right report. Just before we wrap, we are building a custom dashboard. So again, that's something you're gonna be able to create dashboards to I don't know, execs or for a team or to share to your boss. So again, we're gonna have gadgets here. So you see you have already a few just as a starting point, and we're adding more and more, and everything can be like drag and drop, or you can move things around, right? So it's very customizable. And when you have this in place, you just have your dashboard, and you can share links of your dashboards to other people. Again, could be people outside the organization. And when you click, you can go like to the detailed view, right? So this is just like a high level view. So there is also the admin part. So as discussed, we are revamping the whole administration and license management capability. So it's going to be super powerful, especially if you have many licenses to manage on a daily basis, but also if you need like more fine-grained permissions, or make sure that you're using like the resources and the licenses you have in the better way, right? So there's a bunch of stuff. Again, if you're excited about that, you want to learn more, we can have one-on-one calls and you can go through all the capabilities. Okay. All right. So let's switch back to the presentation. So hope this initial demo, it was like quick surface level. We definitely can go on more details, but let me just go back to the slideshow. And then our final poll, right? So based on what you have learned today, right? So how do you feel, right? So what would be the next steps? Do you want to know more and ask more questions? So I know there's a bunch of questions in the chat, but we could like have one-on-one calls just to clarify your specific questions, or you want to start a POC straight away. We love that. You want to be early adopter even before we launch that in April, or you happy with what you see, but maybe later, right? So you can be in a wait list. When you launch, we circle back to you, share a more mature product with way more features than whatever I'm showing to you today. Also, all the AI capabilities that we are envisioning to have in the product. So I'll leave you, Lucio.
Yep. Thank you, Cristiano. Excellent demo, and I appreciate all the details that you shared there. So the results. The audience is letting us know that they want to start POCs and learn more. So definitely we will follow up. Again, thanks for all the comments and questions that we have received in there, and Alex, thank you so much for taking care of those as well. So in right now is the time to ask any questions that you may have if they have not been addressed on the Q&A, or if you want to put them in the chat while we also wait for the results of the poll. So then again, we want to know if you would like to know or ask any more questions, or if you want to start a POC, or if you would like to be put in a wait list, and we will keep you in the loop with the latest news on TestOps. So Alex, Cristiano, any extra questions or answers that you would like to elaborate on based on what came on the chat or in the Q&A?
Yeah, I'll stop sharing. Maybe Alex can chime in because he was answering during the webinar the questions, so he definitely knows the questions that were like quite exciting that people want to not know more.
Yeah, I've been responding to great questions, guys. Thank you so much, both on the Q&A panel as well as on the chat directly. So hopefully addressed all of them. There's one last one from Brian here that I was typing, but I'll just say it here. Brian, it's the same product, right? It's TestOps, so it's not a new product, and it's just the evolution of TestOps from going from a test orchestration and reporting platform to a quality management platform. So it will be added these capabilities we talked today, and Cristiano showed some of them, gave you a sneak peek. And hopefully that, and the goal for us to do that, again, because you guys are our customers today already, we just want to give you a preview of what's coming so that you understand, at the end of the year here, you understand what Katalon is cooking, in the kitchen, to the benefit of our customers like yourselves. So that if there are any of these capabilities that are aligned to certain challenges you have today and that you're trying to address in the new year, then it's coming. And if you want to put your hands on those capabilities and test drive them and become an early adopter, just reach out to us, right? And we will be very happy to set up an exclusive call with each one of you guys individually, walk you through the obviously more of what we shared today, and give you access to the platform so you can start understanding and playing with it for yourself, and hopefully that aligns with the challenges you are trying to address. So it's the full quality management platform that's coming up as the evolution of TestOps. So hopefully that makes it clear.
Excellent. All right, we are on time, and I want to be respectful of everyone's calendar today. So, Cristiano, thank you so much for all the information, and Alex, thank you so much again for helping us as well with the webinar. So, to the rest of you, I want to remind everybody and our audience, that tomorrow at the same time, 11 in the morning Eastern time, we have a similar webinar. Is going to be fully focused on TrueTest. So if you want to see AI-powered test creation, go ahead and register for that. I put the link in the chat, or you can go to katalon.com/webinars. You will see right there on the top left. With that said, thank you all. Thank you to our audience for your time and for being here. And I hope everybody stays safe and has a wonderful day. And we'll see you later.